Stage 37 is entitled Concilium. The culture focuses on the imperial council and the senatorial career. The grammar focuses on varying the tense and voice of the infinitive in indirect statement. In the model sentences on page 30, we see Agricola dictating a letter to a scribe about the Roman victory over the Caledonians. This is explained at the top of the page. Agricola Caledonigis victis epistulam nuntio dictat. He dictates a letter to a scribe, the attendant circumstances, the ablative absolute, the Caledonians having been conquered. In hac epistula, in this letter, Agricola victoriam Romanorum imperatori nuntiat. Okay, Agricola announces the victory of the Romans to the emperor. In each of the three pairs of sentences that follow, a direct quote from Agricola is written down by the scribe as an indirect statement using the accusative infinitive construction. In the first sentence, Agricola says that the Roman army has conquered the Caledonians. Exercitus Romanus Caledonios superavit. The Roman army has conquered the Caledonians. All right, the scribe prefaces this with the words Agricola dicit. Agricola says, exercitum Romanum, and notice here the exercitus is now accusative. Exercitum Caledonios remains the accusative object, but superavisse is now an infinitive, and we will talk about the ending here. This is the perfect active infinitive because they have already done this. They have already conquered the Caledonians. In the second sentence, Agricola says that many enemies, multi hostes perierunt, and a few of them effugerunt. All right, so the subjects are nominative, multi, pauci. The verbs are indicative, perfect tense, perierunt, effugerunt. When the scribe relates this statement in the letter, he prefaces the statement with Agricola says, Agricola dicit. Then the many enemies are going to be in the accusative case, and the verb in the infinitive mood, perfect tense. Perierunt, a perfect tense indicative, becomes periisse, a perfect tense infinitive, because these enemies have already perished. When Agricola makes the statement, when the scribe writes the letter, he goes on to say that a few of them, again, pauci becomes paukos, effugisse, escaped. And here again, effugerunt, a perfect tense indicative verb, becomes an indirect statement. Effugisse, a perfect tense infinitive. So he says many enemies to have perished, few to have escaped is the most literal translation, but using the English word that, we simply relate the statement. Agricola says that many enemies perished and few escaped. In the last sentence, Agricola explains that other tribes after the victory, iam miserunt, have already sent, iam means already, nuntios, they have already sent messengers. That's these people standing in the field wearing pants. All right, so they have already sent messengers, qui, who, pacem petant, who are seeking peace. So here the gentes, the alii gentes, those people are nominative. The verb is indicative, miserunt, it's in the perfect tense because they have already done it. He even uses the word already. They have already sent messengers who are now seeking peace. Qui pacem petant, that verb is in the present tense. When the scribe relates this sentence in the letter. Again, he begins, Agricola says. And what Agricola says is that alias gentes, here accusative, alias instead of alii, nuntios misisse. He says them to have sent. He says that they have sent. Again, this is a perfect tense infinitive. The accusative nuntios doesn't need to change because it's still the object of a verb. It was the object of the indicative miserunt in Agricola's statement. It's the object of the infinitive misisse in the scribe's version. And finally, the qui clause doesn't change one little bit. Qui pacem petant. That stays exactly the same. So you have to pay attention to what does change in these statements. Nominatives and indicatives in direct statement become accusatives and infinitives in the indirect statement. Other things like the objects of verbs in the direct statement don't change. Nuntios is accusative in both statements, and subordinate clauses, qui clauses, other kinds of clauses stay exactly as they were. The letter that Agricola dictates appears on page 31. We'll look at this letter in class tomorrow, and I'll ask you some questions about it. Until then, y'all have a good one.